Here's Cuomo here. There's an old adage among lawyers. If you have the facts on your side, pound the facts. If you have the law on your side, pound the law. If you have neither the facts nor the law, pound the table. That is why CNN's resident megalomaniac, Scott Jennings, did what we all saw when he was getting called out for the nonsense being peddled about the war from the administration. Remember this?
I was only a few years old while you were in the administration defending prior endless wars. Now this war is failing.
8 weeks is endless to you?
Okay, you said it was going to be 4 to 6 weeks.
You have the attention span of a gnat?
Homie, I debated you on TV 4 to 6 weeks ago, and you said we were weeks away from it. Now you're making condescending remarks because you can't defend the fact that this war is not going your way. Wait, one more time.
Not going
Name one political concession. Name one political concession.
Hey, whoa.
Honestly, I'm not going to have this guy's name in my face.
Now, when this happened, I asked, what 48-year-old man talks to a kid 25 years younger than him like that? One who's got nothing else. And one who did work for the Bush administration that sold us the BS about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. You think he would have some type of shame, but there's no shame in the game. And he knows how to play the rage bait game. Now, some of you will say, no, take it easy. He's a good guy. And you're Italian, so you're too comfortable with the hands, but the hands were just too much for the genteel Jennings. But I believe Jennings is just fine with gesticulating. He just couldn't handle what came along with it. My proof? Jennings himself did the same thing Mockler did to him to another guest. And here are the receipts.
Are there any lies that Donald Trump tells that you are disturbed by?
I don't want any politician to lie ever.
What is a lie that Donald Trump
Look, first of all, I don't answer to you, and I don't answer to you. That's number one. Number two, it is my sincere. Well, I don't answer to these two guys.
You put your finger in my face, and you were aggressive, and you said you don't answer. Let me ask you a question, though.
I don't.
You don't ask me a question. I thought you told us, Abby, that we all should speak among each other, not wait for you. And if it's all right,
you're going to ask me for my number after the show?
Hang on, Scott and Michael.
Brother, don't start.
In the spirit of conversation at the table, we're gonna.
What a punk. He did the same thing. You see what I'm saying? Now, what's different is Professor Michael Eric Dyson, the man on your screen, looking at him with contempt. Why? Well, he handled it differently because he has a better handle on adulting than Jennings, but also because he had the facts and the law on his side. See, that's why I called Jennings out. I don't want bad things for him. I wish him well. And I don't want him fired. Because not only did he fail the decency test, right, in a way that he provoked somebody else the same way, but now he's got a new standard, but it's all just a distraction from his true deficiency. He can't justify what's happening in Iran beyond the regime sucks. All this administration can do is pound the table and insist we're winning bigly, which we should be in terms of military might. But beyond what the U.S. war machine accomplished with the IDF in about the first week, we've spent now the better part of 2 months being told not to believe our lying eyes about the obvious impasse. Listen to this.
Last 24 hours or so, Iran's fired at us, we fired at Iran. I'm just going to ask you more directly, is the ceasefire over?
No, the ceasefire is not over. Ultimately, this is a separate and distinct project, and we expected there would be some churn. With the ceasefire, the clock stops. If it were to restart, that would be the president's decision.
So they're firing on you, you're firing on them, but it's a ceasefire because it's a separate component. It's a ceasefire. The ceasefire, it's ceasefire. But they shot, but you're shooting, but the blockade should ceasefire. To quote the Princess Bride, he keeps on using that word. I do not think it means what he thinks it means, because a ceasefire is just what it sounds like. Any firing shows a lack of cessation, okay? Now, those are the facts. The law, even if there were a ceasefire, okay, show me where in the War Powers Resolution it says the president gets to decide to pause the 60-day clock. It doesn't, anywhere. Show me where it says that a ceasefire even pauses the clock. Nowhere. The words are not in the statute because it's not a thing. But of course, the majority in Congress are just MAGA minions for the most part. So instead of enforcing the law that they have a constitutional duty to enforce, they took a vacation. So as a result, instead of Congress doing its job and voting potentially to hold military action until there's a strategy articulated, or maybe a negotiation or diplomatic strategy that makes sense. Instead of that, now there may be another round of bombing. Well, that can't be bad, can it? Well, I don't know. How many innocent people will die? What may happen to American troops? What will it cost? Without any real sense that it will make anything better, how can we allow any of this? After all, we've already sent tens of thousands of bombs into Iran and killed a bunch of the regime's leaders, and yet we are at an impasse. The president told us he obliterated their nuclear capacity. Now he's saying he will obliterate their oil capacity. But the more reporting gets done, the less likely either seems to be true. A new report says U.S. intelligence believes, U.S. intelligence, okay, that is the Trump administration, believes that Iran's timeline to produce enough enriched uranium for a nuclear weapon remains unchanged since last year's Operation Midnight Hammer, okay? They think it's going to take them about a year to have enough enriched uranium. Remember, two things. One, having enough enriched uranium is not the same as having a nuke. There is an entire separate set of processes that can go very wrong to getting to a weapon once you have the uranium. So the idea that they were just weeks away from building a nuke is demonstrably poo-poo, okay? Now, we supposedly went to war because they were weeks away from a weapon. Again, demonstrably by the administration's own intelligence agencies, run by the people he put in charge, say that's not true. Did you hear it? Can you accept it? We'll see. As for oil production, Columbia's Center on Global Energy Policy, which researches exactly this, found, quote, the U.S. blockade of Iran's oil exports will not cause catastrophic or even very serious damage of its oil industry. If and when the blockade is relaxed, Iran will probably be able to promptly resume production at about 70% and regain most of its pre-war capacity within a few months. Now, here's something we can do something about that is very wrong and affecting us at home very much. What you see on your screen. The price of oil is now the same as it was a bunch of years ago, but the price of gas is much higher now than it was then. Why? Profit-taking by the big oil companies. They are making $30 million extra every hour because of the war. Why doesn't the president play tough with them? Why doesn't he say, Congress, get back here. Democrats, you too. Come together and pass a windfall profit tax on these companies. Don't let them gouge profits during a war. Why not do that? Let's discuss. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.